Do you think you control your credit card? Well, everyone does. Until they realize the card isn't a tool, it's a mirror. And most of the time, it reflects far more about your behavior than about your balance. The credit card is a genius invention. It gives you purchasing power, convenience, security. But like every human invention, it came with a proportional dose of stupidity, the belief that credit is the same as money. And that's where the problem begins. Marketing convinces you that the card is a symbol of freedom. But deep down, it's an emotional contract disguised as plastic, a silent agreement where you trade autonomy for reward points and peace of mind for monthly installments. Today, we're ranking the 10 most brilliant and stupid ways to become a slave to your credit card. Those strategies that sound like financial wisdom, but are really just sophisticated ways to go into debt with style. So hit the like button, because today's video is about the traps we love to call benefits. 10. Thinking your limit is your money. This is the first step down the staircase to financial slavery. It all starts with a thought that sounds harmless. Look, I've got a 5,000 real limit on my card. But no, you don't. The bank does. It's just lending it to you, with a rehearsed smile and interest rates hidden in the fine print. Your credit limit isn't purchasing power, it's debt potential. And the irony? The more you use it, the more the bank rewards you, with even more limit. It's like congratulating an addict for upping the dose. You feel proud of having a black, platinum, or infinite card, but the label that really matters is the one you don't see, debit. The credit card is the perfect tool for modern consumption. Simple, elegant, and silent. It lets you spend without noticing, postpone the pain, and installment plan your guilt. And while you feel in control, the system quietly celebrates every confident swipe. Your limit isn't a gift, it's a cliff with mood lighting. Because the true power of purchase doesn't come from the credit they offer, it comes from the self-control you keep not to use it. 9. Paying in installments for things that shouldn't exist. Installments sound harmless, until they become a modern religion. It starts with a big purchase, just to make it easier. But before you know it, you're splitting your Sunday lunch, your sneakers in 6 payments, and your pizza in 3 interest-free ones. Installments give you a sense of control, but what they really do is dilute guilt and disguise the true cost of your impulsiveness. It's the perfect psychological trick, reducing the pain of payment while increasing the frequency of purchases. You don't feel like you spent $1,200. You feel like you invested $100 a month. It's the math of self-deception. Small numbers that add up to big regrets. While the bank profits in interest, you profit in installments of guilt. And society applauds it. It calls it financial planning, when in reality it's just scheduled consumption. You turn the future into a deposit to pay for the past, and call that balance. But in the end, installments don't give you more freedom. They just rent out your income indefinitely. Those who live on installments don't have months, they have debts with birthdays. Because every new purchase is a reminder that your future is already mortgaged, and your freedom divided into 12 easy payments. 8. Paying the minimum and calling it a strategy. This is one of the subtlest and most profitable traps in the financial system. You open your statement, see that absurd total, and think, all right, I'll just pay the minimum now, and deal with the rest next month. What feels like a rational decision is actually a contract of servitude disguised as temporary relief. The minimum payment is one of the most ingenious inventions of the banking industry. It wasn't designed to help you, it was designed to keep you breathing. It's like offering oxygen to a drowning person, and charging for every breath. While you sleep, compound interest works silently, multiplying your debt with the precision of a well-calibrated machine, always in favor of the other side. At first, it feels harmless, a pause, a breather, a smart way to stay current. But behind the scenes, the debt grows at a pace your payments will never catch up to. You spend months, sometimes years, paying for a debt that doesn't shrink, it just shapeshifts. And when you finally understand the game, you see the cruel irony. The minimum was never about the amount, it was about the respect the system has for you. Paying the minimum balance is like trying to put out a fire with installment gasoline. Because what the bank calls a payment option, you'll eventually call, with interest, a gilded prison. 7. Having multiple cards to stay organized. The most elegant form of self-sabotage ever invented. You tell yourself that having several cards helps you keep things under control, divide expenses, or have a backup. But what you really have are multiple channels for the same leak. Each card has its own cycle, limit, bill, and a unique way of confusing you. You spend a little on each, and by the end of the month you don't have one big debt, you have several small ones that add up to a silent disaster. It's like having several leaky buckets trying to hold the same flood. Your brain loves it. It sees every card as a new chance at control, a chance to get it right this time. But in practice, it's just a more sophisticated way to spread your guilt around. The more cards you have, the harder it is to see the whole picture, and the easier it is to justify each purchase. The financial system knows this. It knows that chaos disguised as organization is the perfect environment for profit. That's why it offers you cards with benefits, with miles, with intelligent limits, all with the same goal, keeping you comfortably confused. Because the more plastic in your wallet, the easier it is for them to mold you. Those who collect cards to stay organized end up needing financial therapy just to find themselves again. Because true control isn't having multiple statements, it's having one and knowing exactly what it means. 6. Using your card to earn miles and cash back. This is the most sophisticated trick, precisely because it makes you feel smart while spending. You tell yourself you're using your card to rack up miles, take advantage of cashback, make money work for me. But what's really happening is the opposite. You're working for the system, proudly believing you're in control. Miles are the candy at the tip of the hook. They exist to keep you spending just enough to make it feel worth it. You buy more, you collect more points, you feel financially productive. But when you finally try to redeem them, you discover half have expired, and the other half only cover a flight on a Tuesday at 4 a.m., with 3 layovers and no luggage. The prize seems close, but the system was built so it always slips through your fingers. Cashback plays the same theater, just in a different costume. You spend 1,000 to get 10 back and feel like a personal finance genius. But if a system gives you crumbs, it's because it already took the cake. It's the perfect psychological trick, making you feel like you're winning while you keep feeding the machine. In the end, it's not about points or rewards, it's about conditioning. Miles and cashback don't reward you for spending. They train you not to stop spending. And what looks like strategy is really just loyalty disguised as cleverness. Miles and cashback aren't benefits, they're bait with a loyalty program. Because the real prize isn't the trip or the discount, it's your predictable behavior, which the system has learned to reward just enough to keep you playing. 5. Using the card as an emergency fund. The name itself is already wrong. Emergency and credit in the same sentence is a contradiction disguised as a solution. You tell yourself it's just for unexpected expenses, but deep down, the only thing unexpected is your lack of control. A credit card isn't a reserve, it's a promise of debt with a delayed due date and guaranteed interest. When something goes wrong, credit shows up like a golden-caped hero. But like every hero in the financial system, it charges a high price for the rescue. The cost comes in interest, anxiety, and months of psychological delay. Because when the emergency ends, the card is still there, a silent reminder that the past is still being paid with your present. The trap is subtle. Credit gives you instant relief, and relief is the most expensive feeling in the world. It lends you peace today, so it can charge you for it later. And while you breathe in relief thinking you've solved the problem, the bank is already billing you for that breath. A true emergency fund isn't the one that saves you today, it's the one that prevents tomorrow's crisis. It sits in your account, grows quietly, and gives you something credit never can: peace. Using your card to save yourself is like trying to put out a fire with sand. It works for a second, then suffocates you. Because emergency credit isn't a solution, it's just the emergency dressed up as opportunity. 4. Leaving your card saved on every website. This is the digital trap of the century, and it hides behind one innocent word: convenience. You save your card details just to make things faster, and suddenly, buying becomes as automatic as breathing. One click, one tap, one blink, and boom, another invisible expense. That sense of ease is addictive, because comfort whispers a quiet promise to your brain: it's just one more click. The problem is that comfort removes friction, and friction is what makes you think. When you have to type the card number, confirm details, review the amount, there's a moment of reflection. But when the site autofills everything for you, spending stops being a decision and becomes a reflex. The brain interprets the purchase as light, harmless, and that's exactly where the system wins. Every platform wants to be your preferred wallet, your frictionless payment option. But what looks like convenience is really a strategy of behavioral capture. Because whoever holds your card holds your impulse. And the less time you have to think, the easier it is to spend without noticing. The result is a new kind of dependency, not on the purchase itself, but on the feeling of fluidity, the illusion that spending has become natural. And the more natural it feels, the more dangerous it becomes. The Buy Now button is the fastest shortcut from convenience to addiction. Because every convenience comes with a price, and in digital consumption, the price is always your awareness. 3. Ignoring your statement and trusting your memory. You swear you remember everything you spent. But the human brain wasn't built to track numbers, it was built to tell stories. And the stories you tell yourself to justify your spending are always prettier, more coherent, and more heroic than the statement that arrives at the end of the month. Ignoring your bank statement is the financial equivalent of trying to block out the sun with your finger. You think you're in control just because you refuse to look at the chaos. But control doesn't come from closing your eyes, it comes from facing the reflection. Every ignored notification is a reminder that your card doesn't just charge interest, it charges attention. And attention is the most expensive currency you own. The mind creates a cozy illusion of control. I know roughly what I spent. Everything's under control. This month was calm. But that illusion of control is the most dangerous addiction of modern consumption. Because the problem isn't losing money, it's believing you still have it when it's already gone. You think you're tracking your expenses, but the ruler belongs to the bank, and it always measures in their favor. The bill, in the end, is just the mirror of everything you didn't want to face in real time. And the longer you postpone that confrontation, the higher the reflection costs you. Those who don't track their statements live in a world without consequences, until the card reminds them that reality always comes with interest. 2. Trading debt for status. This is one of the most expensive and most disguised forms of modern financial servitude. You don't use your credit card to buy things. You use it to buy validation. The new clothes, the fancy dinner, the latest smartphone, they all seem like part of your identity, an extension of who you are. But in truth, they're just installments with a hint of self-esteem. Advertising has trained you to believe that having is the fastest way to being. And the credit card became your passport to a world where luxury is instant and the bill is delayed. Each purchase comes wrapped in status, each expense feels like an achievement, and credit becomes the stage where you perform the version of success the system wants to see. You feel proud to be a premium client, to carry a metal card, to hear the attendant call you Mr. Exclusive. But exclusivity that comes with interest isn't privilege, it's a prison with a red carpet. You pay dearly for a fantasy that lasts 30 days and renews automatically, with late fees and vanity interest. The system knows that status is the most valuable emotional currency that exists. And while you think you're buying respect, you're really just financing your own insecurity. Because there's no luxury big enough to fill the void of someone who measures worth by their credit limit. Status paid on credit is the rent of appearance, and the due date comes every month. Because financed prestige isn't success, it's just self-esteem in installments, with compound interest. 1. Believing you're in control. This is the final pact. The illusion that just because you understand the system, it can't manipulate you. You pay your bills on time, rack up miles, track expenses, and believe you're winning the game. But the credit card was never made to be beaten. It was made to keep you playing forever. Every bill paid is just the start of the next round. Every reward is just a reminder to keep spending. And the real danger isn't in the debt, it's in the peace of mind that credit slowly destroys. The credit card is a mirror. The more you look into it, the more you see a reflection of your own behavior. And what the bank fears most is that one day you'll look deep enough to realize you never needed it as much as it needs you. Believing you control your card is the most intelligent and most foolish way to stay trapped by it. In the end, the credit card is one of the most brilliant inventions in history, and one of the cruelest too. It doesn't force you to do anything. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't make you spend. It just sits there, silent, waiting for you to confuse freedom with limit and autonomy with approval. And that's exactly why it works so well. Because the card doesn't trap you by your balance, it traps you by the feeling of power. With every swipe, you think you're choosing, but you're only reacting. It's a socially accepted addiction, an elegant kind of prison where the bars are transparent and the lock is emotional. The card promises you the now, but charges you the future. It gives you status, but steals your peace. It teaches you to live as if money were just a matter of date, when in truth, it's a matter of awareness. In the end, financial freedom isn't about being debt-free, it's about being illusion-free. And the credit card, with all its convenience and charm, is the most sophisticated illusion money ever invented. So before you blame the bank, the marketing, or the limit, remember, the credit card doesn't make you a slave. You decide whether it will be your tool or your master.